Welcome back, everyone. John Berman in New York. We have been covering the sentencing hearing in Cleveland, Ohio for Ariel Castro. He agreed last week, pled guilty to some 937 counts, including rape, kidnapping, sexual assault, you name it. He agreed to a plea bargain of life in prison plus 1,000 years. He will never get out. And today we are hearing dramatic testimony inside this courtroom right now during this sentencing hearing. I want to talk about this. I'm going to bring in a couple guests right now. Karen Charrington, she is a former sex crimes prosecutor, and Doug Berman, a professor of law at Ohio State University. Psychological, physical, sexual assault and terror over a 10-year period. Karen Charrington, former sex crimes prosecutor, what struck you about what you heard today?
Well, you know, most of the testimony and the details today just showed how heinous this crime was. And I agree that this testimony is used so that the prosecution can have a seal-tight deal here, and that they can clearly support on the record why Castro is receiving a life sentence plus 1,000 years. What also struck me is that the defense is going to use this hearing to also humanize Castro in some way. You heard that Castro indicated that he was not a monster, and he wanted to portray that to the public. So what strikes me is the cross-examination from the defense counsel of these witnesses in an attempt to somehow humanize Castro and also make a reasoning with respect to why Castro conducted this heinous crime.
Quickly, Karen, you have dealt with victims of sex crimes before. What must it be like for these women? They're not in the courtroom right now. We might hear from Michelle Knight in a little bit. What must it be like for them to know that this information is now being made public?
I think it will help them, and I think that the prosecution wanted to lessen the amount of information.
Hang on one second, Karen, because we're actually looking at Michelle Knight, who is in the courtroom right now. Karen, I did not mean to interrupt you, but with the two of them in the courtroom right now, this is remarkable to see, Karen. Do you think, Karen, that Michelle Knight has been instructed about how to behave, whether or not she should look him in the eye, what types of things she should or shouldn't say? How well prepared do you think she might be for what goes on today, Karen?
Yeah, I think she has to be well prepared. I'm sure she was prepped by the prosecutors on what she needs to say, how to conduct herself, where she should look, even possibly if she's interested in avoiding eye contact with Castro, they'll instruct her. They may have even brought her to the very courtroom prior to this hearing so that she could practice what she'll say and how she'll say it and where exactly she should look.